In 1999, Marvel Comics sold the rights to Spider-Man to make a feature-length film that was way overdue in the 90s. So, in 2002, Spider-Man finally made his movie theater screen debut to the public, and it made so much money at the box office that they spawned several different sequels that the Spider-Man character keep kicking and breathing today, and they're not letting this character die. So today's video is going to be a little different because I'm going to dive into all the, go back to the previous Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie and we talk about the unused concept that almost made it to the film, not make it to the film, and the concept that I would have saw that what we got on the big screen. Before I get into the video, like and subscribe, comment on my videos, and I can continue to give you more of this amazing kind of content. Alright, let's get into the video, enjoy. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man costume from 2002 is probably the most iconic superhero suit ever hit the big screen, but there was a good chance we could have had something different. Take a look at this picture made by Ted's Comic Core, and it looks kind of pretty good, look kind of comic accurate, but the only problem I have with this suit is the blue, the webbing going into the blue, which I don't even like. I think it's just staying to the red like the actual traditional comic. That was kind of interesting, but the one I actually found more interesting is this one picture made by Alex Ross that was supposed to be in the film at first. And it looks pretty good, the red and black, but for me, I'd rather stay to the traditional red and blue because that's so iconic. But the Alex Ross suit did make it to the video game tie-in game from 2002, and it was so influential that they made a comic book suit based off the called the Superior Spider-Man worn by Dr. Octopus. So yeah, but I can't admit, if it wasn't for these kind of concepts, we wouldn't have got the iconic suit that Tobey Maguire knows and we all know and love. The Green Goblin is such an iconic Spider-Man villain that ever hit any of the comic books. He's a goblin, he wears a goblin mask, flies on a glider, he wears the elf boots and a slash, kind of a skirt, and the Sony Pictures producers thought that would not fit in reality, so they tried to ground the idea with all different kind of concepts, military tech. And for a person like me, that's the problem I have with comic book movies, is that they don't think some of these villains can't be grounded. That's the whole point of a comic book, because they're not supposed to be grounded. It's fantasy. Anything is possible. That's why I appreciate some of those other comic book movies that dive into the mythical and unrealistic side of the characters. But there's a lot of other pictures like that. Look at this picture made by Alex Ross of Green Goblin. He does not look comic accurate, but it looks really interesting. That could have faced Alex Ross Spider-Man costume. And think about it, they gave him a sword, they gave him, originally I thought this was an actual skin until I saw the stitches on the leg. But I'm kind of glad this didn't get into the film, but it did make it into the Spider-Man 2002 tie-in game. But there's one concept that I wish actually did make it to the film, but they didn't make it to the film for a couple reasons. And it's this one made by Sony Pictures on a prosthetic animatronic goblin mask. And this goblin mask looks so accurate to the comics, but the only reason this mask did not make it to the film because Willem Dafoe was so uncomfortable in it. And it frightened and scared children for a movie that is actually made for kids. But even though it was made for kids, I think this should have stayed in the film because it feels so comic book that the character should know that he's a monster. But there's plenty of other concepts that didn't make it into the film. Look at this one. Originally in the movie, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man was supposed to have web shooters instead of organic webs, which would have actually made sense. But the only reason that they didn't go to the film because they don't think that a teenage kid could actually make this, but it was actually shown that Tobey Maguire was wearing web shooters in a 2003 unreleased trailer. So I wish at least we got see him almost made it to the film, which I would have been interested in, but in 2000s, the Spider-Man 2 would affect the whole timeline. But there's another villain that was supposed to be in this movie, Dr. Octopus, was supposed to be the second villain alongside Green Goblin, which I think would be a bad idea because I would have saved them for the sequel like they did with the Spider-Man 2 movie. But it was kind of interesting to think about how Dr. Octopus would fit into this alongside Norman Osborn. And because they're both scientists. Maybe Dr. Octopus works at Oscorp or something. But this concept shows a more scrawny version of Dr. Octopus and with these weird like backpack mechanical arms, and I don't really like this idea for a concept, even though it is from the comics where he was a backpack mechanical arms. So I'm kind of glad we didn't get that. We got a more awesome, more cooler version of Dr. Octopus. So yeah, it is kind of interesting to go look back at all these other concepts to see what this movie could have been. Though, like there's this like cool like the wrestling outfit that Spider-Man was supposed to wear in the wrestling match scene. There was all these old rejected Spider-Man logos that didn't fit the one that Tobey Maguire wore in the end. Like there's plenty of concepts out there of what this movie could have been like for the Sam Raimi trilogy and how far it would have come to all of these 3 movies. So yeah, please like and subscribe, turn on the notifications, comment, and if you want to see like the rejected concepts of Spider-Man 2, 3, and all the other Spider-Man movies. Anyway, I'm Carson, thank you for watching.